Hi everyone and Happy New Year! With the start of a new year, we are blessed with another calendar from the amazing Kelly O'Gorman. She's a super talented illustrator and her calendars are always really high quality, as are all of her products. And I'm just really excited to see what she's come up with for each month of this year. So let's get started. On the back of the calendar is a series of thumbnails showing you the illustrations inside, and each month has its own name, so you can see that January is Janice, February is Love Potion, and it goes on. The calendar itself is 24 by 34 centimetres and is ring bound at the top. It has a handy cutout hole on every page for you to pin it to the wall, and it's made from beautifully thick cardstock. The usable part of the calendar is fantastic because it has really large boxes for you to add in all of your appointments and other things you'll need to note down for the year. You can see that Kelly has unobtrusively added common holidays in there for you so you don't have to write those in yourself. And at the bottom there is a notes part for you to write any memos that you might need to check at a glance for the month. And now the illustrations. So this is January's illustration called Janice, which I think must be a goddess of January or something. I should have looked it up before starting the review, but there's a lot of different elements on this page, and you can always guarantee that Kelly's illustrations will contain references to whatever theme it is that she's going for. So the first thing you can see when looking at this illustration is this big pair of, I think, Art Deco style doors. And I think they must be fairy doors because they are inset into trees here. But it's just absolutely stunning. And they kind of look like elevator doors, really opulently decorated ones. And I can imagine some gold paint and filigree type thing going beautifully on here. We've got the two faces either side in profile. And then up here we have the moon, the sun, and a wolf in the centre. Now again, I'm not really sure of the meaning of these pieces, but I'm guessing a new year, a new start, a new phase in your life probably for January. But yeah, it's gorgeous illustration no matter what. Here we have February's illustration, which is called Love Potion. And as you can see, we've got this delicate potion bottle at the bottom, which is releasing the fumes of the potion, which then turn into the hair of this beautiful lady here. There's tons and tons of flowers and blooms encrusted into this illustration, and it's just a very sweet, simple, centralised illustration on the calendar that shouldn't take too long to colour. So if you're looking for something quite quick, this one would be perfect. March's illustration is called Flow, and there's quite a lot going on in this one. It all seems to have a watery theme. So we've got the frog on the lily pad with the thistle in the background. We've got a swan and a couple of koi carp. There's also a peacock, I think, yeah, of course it is. It's got the peacock feathers. So not sure if that is meant to be a water bird. I don't think it is, but then again, I could be wrong. The only time I've ever seen peacocks have been nowhere near water, so that's where I'm coming up with that. But again, we've got flowers and florals. There always seems to be some sort of floral within Kelly's work. And then down here, we've got the lady. As you can see, her hair is flowing up into the branches and into the frog's foot, so it's all sort of tied in together. April's illustration is of course Easter themed, and everything on this seems to have an egg-like shape. So you can see the frame itself is an egg. We've got the couple of egg family members here, and the mum and the dad, and even the cat and the mouse at the top is just shaped like an egg. It's really funny. My favourite part of this is the little dog. And as you can see, it's just a really cute illustration that encapsulates this Easter world. So May is my birth month, and that means I always kind of jump to that month in the calendar to see what illustration or what picture has been chosen, and this is a really brilliant one. It almost has a little bit of a Wicker Man lilt to it, which, you know, it probably isn't meant to at all, but me with my horror brain, I'm always trying to work scary stuff into there somewhere. So as you can see, they're dancing around the maypole, and we've got a frog, a fox, a hare and a mouse. And I think the reason it gives me those Wicker Man vibes, not only for the maypole, is because it kind of looks like they were all wearing helmets, animal helmets. So yeah, so it's a really good one, this, because you've got the frame going around the edge that has the flowers in each corner, and it is a whole scene behind it. So you can put in a sky, you know, the fields and the trees behind, and it would be a whole image. I don't think there would be any white on this image. It would be a whole sort of glimpse and snapshot into the scene that is happening within this illustration. So we've got another heart-shaped one for June. This is the fairy door, and you can see we've got two very delicate, beautiful fairies here just holding on to some flower stems, just about to go home into their little fairy house. We've got a butterfly, which could be a red admiral by the markings, and again, just lots of flowers, berries, leaves, and that essence of nature that you always get with Kelly's drawings. July is absolutely fabulous. It is a sea dragon. So you can see we start off with the head of a dragon and it sort of flows off into what would look like a mermaid tail. So yeah, the scales will be fantastic to colour. Again, I'm imagining metallic paints on each one of those scales to give it that iridescence. And it looks as if he's sitting on top of the castle, which of course is a ruin, because imagine a dragon of this size trying to sit on a structure. It just wouldn't work, would it? So in the background we've got the moon or the sun, and it looks almost like planets here. I know it's not. I know it's meant to be sort of bubbles of smoke coming from the flame in his nostrils, but it would be really cool to sort of make it look like a space dragon, I think, with the big kind of planet in the background already and these smaller bubbles to make into other planets. That's just how I'm seeing it. We have a bedecked unicorn for August, so you can see it's just covered in flowers, and there's also some animals hidden in there as well, butterflies and a bird. And as you can see, if we flip this over, at the bottom we have a cute little elf or gnome tiny world going on down here as well with the mushroom. So it's really fun, and yeah, lots of flowers. I think this will look absolutely beautiful, that the tail and all of the hair, the mane, everything is made out of flowers pretty much. I can imagine this being a stunning finished piece. So we've got an S for September. We've got the sunlight, the sunflowers, fairies, and it kind of goes into those faces that you see on trees sometimes, you know, that have been carved out of trees. It sort of looks a little bit like that. It's very sort of open to interpretation sometimes, Kelly's work, so it's up to you to decide what you think this is. It can be quite abstract, and that is brilliant because it means you can do anything you like and there's no right or wrong answer. I'm so glad that October has a Halloween theme, and this is just so much fun. As you can see, we've got the tree that has a jack-o'-lantern carved into it and some creepy baubles hanging off. Then we've got the trick-or-treaters themselves. We've got a little cute ghost and a pumpkin head holding this lantern, great for practicing your glows. Then we have a hare and a scarecrow in the background with his pitchfork. So right in the background of the picture we have a moon and a bat and stars. So this is obviously a night scene, and as I mentioned, will look really good with a lantern glow done here. So November's illustration is called Comfort, and I think that's something we all need when it gets into November. The nights are drawing in, it's cold in the day, and life just isn't right without a cup of hot chocolate in your hand. And this lady really actually reminds me of Kelly herself. I don't know whether she's used her own photograph as a reference point, but it just really reminds me of Kelly. It's absolutely beautiful. So this looks like a palm frond almost. And you can see it has these flicking leaves coming out from it, which sort of remind me of a flame. So, you know, comfort by the fire, hot chocolate, the stars in the background. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see people interpret. So finally we have December's illustration, the Christmas wreath, and as you can see I've coloured this already. I had so much fun doing this. I knew as soon as I saw it that I wanted it to be the first one that I coloured because I'm still kind of in that Christmassy festive spirit. I realised a little too late that these larger berries were meant to be mistletoe berries and therefore should be a creamy sort of ivory colour, but it doesn't really matter. I've tried to blend them in as best as possible, and I really love how it's turned out, especially the little robin. I used millions and millions of white gel pen dots, as you can see, because it just gives it something a little bit extra just to have that kind of frosted look to it. It makes it more wintry to me. But yeah, it's fantastic. So I really hope you've enjoyed looking at Kelly's calendar. I'm going to be leaving the Etsy link in the description. There's two links actually. The first one will be the physical printed calendar, which is just $11.99. Fantastic price for such a high quality production, and of course the quality of illustrations as well. And then there's the digital version that you can download, which is around about £1 less. So if you can, try and get yourself a printed version. It's really well made, and as you can see, just stunning. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.